Text us to receive up to 5 automated marketing texts to your number. Consent to receive marketing text not required. Message and data rates may apply.
You want to lose weight and get in shape, but every time you try, it only lasts a couple weeks. Well, look, it's not your fault because it's super hard. I'm Carl, the founder of Body. That's Body with an I. And here's a secret. Most fitness and diet programs don't work long-term because they aren't designed to fit into your life long-term. That's why I created the world's first health esteem app. And I want you to text me to try it free for 14 days. Body shows you how to enjoy your life while you get healthy and lose weight. Sound too good to be true? Don't say that to our millions of happy members. The next 500 people to text me the word health to 303030 can try Body for free for 2 weeks or get 50% off a paid membership. Text health to 303030. It's gonna work. But first, you need to be one of the next 500 people to text health to 303030.
Have you ever wondered how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Or what the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow is?
Well, in this episode of Spec Tales, we are not going to be covering either of those subjects. What's going on, spectators? Thank you for tuning in. We're your hosts, Jake and Jesus.
So this week, before we jump into our latest episode, we wanted to tell everybody about a giant-sized New Year's special we've got coming up. It'll include multiple guests, including some returning and some first appearances.
That's right, and topics are going to include what our favorite pickups were for 2021 and what Grails do our guests have on their 2022 wish list.
Yes, and we also want to hear from you guys on what your Grail for 2022 is. So please message us on Instagram or Twitter, or also hit up our email at spectalespodcast@gmail.com.
So make sure you get those submissions in by December 30th. Mark your calendar, write a Post-it note, whatever you can do. December 30th is when we're recording the episode, and we got to make sure we have those in our inbox by that date so we can make sure to read them when we record. All right, we're looking for those. Jesus, I think that's about enough self-promotion for one intro. Why don't you go ahead and kick the episode off?
All right, man. I thought you'd never ask. All right, enlistment in the Scarce Army is now officially open, so don't forget your word of the day, TP.
Oh, my God. You are never getting to do this ever again. All right, everybody. This is episode 21.
This is a conspiracy. That's what this is.
Just begging to course its way through your veins.
Let's just for a moment speculate, shall we?
You're into comic books, aren't you?
I'm a nerd.
But you do like comic books.
Comic books aren't just for sad nerds anymore.
Do you think we need one more?
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Do you think we need one more?
Objection, calls for speculation, move to strike.
This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea.
All right, we'll get one more.
Spectacles, a comic book podcast with Jake and Jesus.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Spec Tales, a comic book podcast where we ask collectors and creators, what's your Grail tale? So Jesus and I would like to start this episode off by taking a quick moment to just say thank you to everybody out there listening. So the last month has been kind of a blur, but an amazing one. We've had a number of new listeners and commenters and people engaging with us, and it's just kind of exploded just over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and we could not be more appreciative of that.
Yeah, so we just wanted to take the time to say thank you guys for it. And like Jake mentioned, it has been a blur. I think even in the last episode, I mentioned to you, Jake, that just having these creators, it just kind of blows our mind. So we just want to thank you guys and thank you for the feedback on it. And we're just going to continue to put out some good content for you guys.
Exactly. Well said. Yeah, the support's been wonderful. So that we really just wanted to start this off by saying thank you. However, this episode is going to be kind of not unique, but we're kind of going back to our original formula, our original sauce. So Jesus and I met on Instagram through the comic community. We became good friends, and then we decided to start this show. And so previously, when we first kicked the show off, you would remember we had a lot of our mutual friends from Instagram come on the show and really just talk collecting and comics. And we want to get back to that for this episode. So today, we have the pleasure of welcoming two guests onto the show who we met and became friends with through IG. They are the lovable husband and wife comic duo who are a hell of a lot of fun to follow on social media, Sammy and Tony from Skeleton Keys. Welcome.
Hey, thanks so much for having us.
How's it going?
How's it going? Thank you very much for coming on. We've been following you guys, of course, on IG. You guys seem to be popping up literally everywhere, which is, just to say you guys are, working really hard. So congratulations on all the positive stuff going on your side of things.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you so
much.
It
is a ton of work.
It is so much, but it's like a labor of love, like legit, straight up labor of love.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you never work a day in your life when you're doing something you like, right? So they say. But you guys truly are everywhere, and I wanted to really start with that very thing. You guys are on YouTube, you are on Instagram, you are on whatnot. Seriously, is there anywhere you're not on right now?
MySpace?
I was gonna say MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Oh my God. Yeah. I still have my account. So
yeah, I can't log in. They want me to send in like my driver's license in order to get access to my account to prove that I'm
really?
me.
Oh, wow.
They should be begging people to come back, really.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Awesome. So, all right. For those listening who have never listened to our show, we have 3 basic segments. We do recent pickups, where we talk about something we've recently read or a collectible or comic that we just recently picked up. And then we move into Grail Tales, where we ask our collectors or our guests to talk about their comic book grail and maybe the story about how they got it or something about why it inspires them, or, they make it whatever they want. So that's on you guys. But after that, then we'll finish up with the speculation. We have a lot of collectors who listen, so we want to make sure that we always go out with something that maybe they should go looking for out at their LCSs. So you guys ready to go?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, Jesus, I always let you kick off recent pickups, so hop to it.
All right, it's going astounding today too, just so you know.
The word of the day is that.
No, you didn't ask. You didn't ask today, so I'll just say it. I just put it out there. But my recent pickup, I'm going off based last week's episode. I mentioned this as a spec. So I went ahead and took the advice of the Spec Tales crew, and I went ahead and picked up Hawkeye number 11. I was able to snag it in a CGC 9.8, which is the Eisner winning issue through the point of view of Lucky the Pizza Dog. Which, as we've seen, if we've seen the Hawkeye series, Lucky's a prominent character in at least the first 2 episodes. So I was able to pick it up. I got it under fair market value. I'm really excited about it. I hope they do something with it. But that's my recent pickup, and I'm really excited about it.
Very cool.
Very nice. Are you guys familiar with that issue? With the whole issue is in the point of view of the dog?
I understand that it's a thing. I might have it upstairs, but I didn't read that Hawkeye series. I know it's like superb, but I never read it.
Don't have it anymore in the shop because several months ago, we have a super hardcore. Some of our customers are like hardcore speculators. So some of them will reach out and be like, "Hey, do you have this?" So that one was gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, sweet, specking on the pup.
But the particular issue is a lot of fun, though. I will say really it was a brilliant idea. So that's fun. I do think that book is at the very least intriguing to own, just because of the unique nature of how they wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
For what that's worth.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Jesus, that's the only one you got?
That's the only one I got for today.
Sometimes you bring 2. I just had to check.
It's lean. Times are lean, man.
All right. Well, that would mean Sammy and Tony, you're up.
All right.
You go ahead.
Mr. Skeleton Key.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Skeleton Key. Should I start calling you that?
No, thank you.
No, don't do it.
It's just one of my cheesy names.
Yeah. No, so I went to the LCS pretty recently, and I got some funds for my birthday. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to buy anything for the shop. I'm going to buy some stuff for myself. And I went through... I was going on a Key Collector, and I went through their Spider-Verse thing, and it just had like a slew. I don't think it had anything to do with like a movie or anything like that. Just like a slew of all these first Spider people. So I just went digging for all these dollar bin first Spider people. So I grabbed like a chunk. Like here, I'll show you.
Geez,
a little
that's a stack.
Yeah. So I got Spider-Geddon Zero. This is the video game one.
Okay.
First Captain Stacy as Spider-Man. Right
okay.
Here.
Oh, that was really cool.
Nice.
This is supposedly maybe the first appearance of Miles' sister as Spider-Zero.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got Spider-Girl 1. So this is her first time in the black suit.
Nice.
Marvel Tales. Spider-Ham.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you got that.
Yeah, dude. I got first Soccer Spider, which recently came out. This one I've been looking out for a while, and I got it for $1. So this is the first anime Parker or Spiderling in Renewal Vows.
I love that cover.
You said you got that for $1?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what this is, but it looked cool, so I picked it up.
Nice. What number is that?
I think that's the first time they meet. I don't know. I don't remember that.
It's that was Spider-Man Alien Reality 3.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This one,
I'm not familiar with it, but it's a great cover.
This Spider-Man 1602, where he's like back in the day.
Yeah. Fighting dinosaurs.
And I always try to pick up some amalgam, so I grabbed a Spider-Boy.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, cool.
It blows my mind how many versions of Spider-Man there really are. Right? Could they milk that name brand any more than they do? I don't think it's possible. But very nice. Very nice.
Those are cool. Those are really cool pickups, man, especially for $1.
So I'm going to show you guys my pickups that I got for myself recently.
You'll see a stark difference in our collection.
Yeah, we collect very, very different. So this is Jumbo Comics 91. This is an LB Cole.
Wow.
I know.
That is a gorgeous cover.
Gorgeous Golden Age Sheena. Very gorgeous.
Very different. You were not kidding when you said that.
Very different. I got Tilly the Toiler. I had never heard of this book before, but when I saw it, it was like love at first sight, and I had to have it. This is issue 176. She's skating.
Oh, skating! I was like, what is she doing?
I've never heard of that either. What's the year on that?
It's Golden Age.
It definitely, it looks like it could be. But it's like 1940s almost. That's old.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. And I got Jumbo Comics 143. Another golden oldie. I love the cover. So Jungle Comics are like my favorite to grab if it has an amazing cover on it.
See, she's in peril, but not really. Like her face doesn't say I'm in peril.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't love grabbing the victim, like when the woman's like the victim. I want her when she's like the BA.
Oh yeah.
So then I also picked up my first Pep comic, issue 87.
Oh, nice.
Pep comics. It's so cute.
Yeah.
She's like all shy on a date. So I had to get that one. And then I got A Date with Judy. This girl is like a snot, but that's probably the reason I wanted it. A Date with Judy 28. The guy's like laying his jacket in the puddle, and she's just looking at him like he was supposed to do that anyway. So no, thank you.
Dang, that's a hard date. That's a tough date.
Yeah.
It is. She's so mean. But those are my most recent personal pickups that I love. Did we get the date?
It was 1947.
Yep, 1947.
Nice. Very well.
Tilly the Toiler was a platinum age comic back in the day in like a magazine.
Wow. Oh, really?
Jeez.
Yeah. We've never had a platinum age comic on this show.
Me neither. That'll be a whole new section to get to.
Yeah. My favorite books to grab. It's a bit addicting once you get your first Golden Age book. It's like you got an itch and you just have to like keep getting more.
Yeah. I actually had just got mine about a month ago. It was a Tales from the Crypt 42.
Oh, very cool.
I'm a pre-code horror guy, and that you're exactly right, because now suddenly I just start looking at, well, maybe what else could I get? So and it's a terrible habit to get into.
What's your number one thing that you want to try to get that's in pre-code horror?
Well, that's the hard part, is because they get super, super expensive. The Tales from the Crypt 42 I picked because it reminded me of one of my favorite Silver Age horror books. But going into the older ones, there's a lot of Punch comics books that I would love to get, but those are really expensive. Ultimately, I'm a huge Frank Frazetta fan, which would you'll see I have a Frank Frazetta for my recent pickup today, actually. But I would probably go into, gosh, I don't know, the Punch ones, and then any of the older Frank Frazetta covers would probably be what I would target. Ultimately, the ones I want, or the style of ones that I want, they seem to be fairly out of my price range currently. And I try to balance between what I'm assuming you guys do too, what you're buying for the PC collection, and what you're getting to try to make the hobby pay for itself a little bit. So
we separate it heavily.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, I don't do a lot of sales. So when I do, it's literally just to try to generate money so I can buy another book. Really, that's the only way that I tend to do it. So
that's how I'm pretty sure we all start. No,
it's a slippery slope. I've been told. So the book that I'm gonna for my recent pickup, this is Creepy #2. So this is from 1965, and Jesus is gonna say, I mean, we went 3 weeks without mentioning Creepy on this show, and I've been in withdrawals, so I had to bring it up. The Creepy #2 fills. I now have the run 1 through 5 for the Creepy magazine, and I have 8 and 10 for the first 10 issue. For 6 through 10. So now I got to go looking for 6, 7, and 9. But this is it's a Frank Frazetta cover, and he basically did the first 5 covers. Of the first 10 covers, I think he did 8 out of 10. And I'm 8. Yeah, and he did not do number 8. But he did number 9, and I believe
9 and 10.
Yeah, so I don't think he did 7 or 8, I believe. Somebody out there listening, if feel free to correct me. Anyway, so as a big fan, love Creepy. I love getting into those old horror, and the Creepy magazines, I keep saying it, they are just really affordable books to get into, but the artwork is phenomenal, and you don't spend so much money on it that you're afraid to read it, right? All of these books I've read, and I'm not terrified. Obviously, I'm careful with them, but I'm not worried about, ripping a page or downgrading the value of it in any way. So
do you have them all raw or all graded, or are you going to get them all raw or graded, or?
So I have them all raw except for number 1. Number 1 I have in a 7.5 white pages CGC grade. And that was really the only one I felt the need to get graded.
That's awesome.
4 or 5. I don't know. 4 or 5 might be something that need to be graded too. Just FYI.
Yeah. Well, if I want to, I have them.
No, you need to. You need to.
Nice. Okay. Well, that wraps us up on recent pickups. I think everybody did really well, but I'm going to go ahead and say I think Sammy had the best. So I think she wins today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
I was a close second, though. Followed by Tony.
Mine is the only one that had a dog in it, so I should win honorable mention at least or something.
You got an honorable last. That's what you got. Okay, so
for pup's sake, for pup's sake, pizza dog's cute.
Yeah. Honorable last for pup. So
I gotta say, did you guys watch the show so far? The Hawkeye show?
I have not yet. I do want to. I just haven't gotten around to it.
So here's my only critique, because I watched the first episode this morning, and it is the dog, right, that you're talking about, is too well trained, because they put like a slice of pizza on the ground and it doesn't move until they're like, go ahead. You know what I mean? And it's like, that would never happen with a street dog. Like,
those aren't real dogs. That's the only critique, though. That's it.
That's all I got. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, then it must be pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Pleasantly surprised.
So you guys don't watch together, though.
Let's see. What was I doing? I had to go to work, so I was getting ready. I was getting ready for work, and I was just like watched it in the morning and then bounced.
And so you guys keep spoilers from one another, I assume, right?
You don't. She doesn't know anything.
Oh, all right. I don't think I could do that to my wife. I'd be like, I tell you something.
It depends on how important it is, because obviously we run a shop too, and if it's because I run most of like I watch a lot of YouTube for like spoilers and spec and all that kind of stuff. So if I see something or she hears something, we'll definitely talk to each other about it. But if it's like specifically watching the show, we won't spoil that.
Yeah.
Usually.
But from a price perspective, you guys make sure that you're up to date on stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Well, even like staying relevant, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I completely get
I
it.
feel like, even staying relevant, because how boring of a show would it be if we just threw up like whatever really our heart desired and like no one cared what it was. No one cared.
My
no one would
amalgams.
show.
You're a mock.
A date with Judy. A run of Date with Judy.
Well, I mean, you kind of said it. Like, if it's what your heart desired, then you would care about it. But yeah, you might be, screaming into a cave filled with nobody, right? Like All right, so let's move into the Grail Tale. It's the best segment we got. It's the best thing because Jesus and I just sit back and we listen to what you guys have to talk about, and so that makes us feel like, relaxed. So anyway, I don't know what order you guys want to go in. It's kind of, I don't, him first, you, or however, but take it away.
All right. So my Grail, which we recently picked up when did we go to the Columbia one?
Soda City Con was like, I don't know, a month ago.
Maybe a month ago. We picked this one up. This is Mystery Tales number 40. And then Vic Carabotta was there.
Yep.
So we talked to him for a little bit and he signed it. This is, I believe, the first pencil work from Steve Ditko in comics, if not Atlas. So super, super cool. So story from this one is, one, I've never owned an Atlas comic before. Like a true, not the 1980s, other thing.
Pre-Marvel.
Yeah. So this for me was like a really, really big deal because I never thought in a million years I would ever get one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let alone afford it and then go get the artist to sign it and talk to that man for a while who's like 92 or whatever.
I was just about to say like how he's got to be
he's the oldest living golden age artist.
Yeah. And he goes to every con. Like, he is all over the place. He's the hardest working man I've ever met.
Yeah.
The dude's everywhere.
He is
just
so
incredible.
sweet. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We didn't recognize him when we walked in. It was a very small con. And he was like the only main artist there. And we walked past him and we're like, oh my gosh, this place is going to be a bust. And because there was like 3 comic places, a bunch of anime stuff. But we found one place. We have a friend. He was set up, Chris Voss. And we were talking to him for a little bit, and he was like, actually, Vic Carabotta's over there too. And we're like, that's that guy? That's who that is? So we went back to the first booth we were originally at shopping because we bought a bunch from there for the shop. And he had a lot of, is that where we got the pre-code horror stuff?
The other shop,
we got our first pre-code horror, some really cool Golden Age stuff and Silver Age stuff from that guy. So we went way back there and we're like, do you have anything that he can sign over there? And he's like, I only got this stuff on the wall.
What's that mean?
So I open up my wallet. The
That's
two
a
flies
salesman right
there. And I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's make this deal and figure this out. So that's how that happened.
Oh, that sounds like a worthwhile story, though.
Oh,
Holy
yeah,
cow.
for sure. And it's one of those like amazing discoveries and things like while we were there, we didn't really know that book existed. It wasn't on our like Grail list or anything like that, but like the story behind it and getting it and then meeting Vic Carabotta, who has a story inside of it, it was just made that book like super special.
Exactly. That is literally the definition of a Grail tale, which is really fun. And the thing is now the signature, the book, everything that about it carries so much more weight with you. Not just so it's beyond just the monetary value that you guys have found, have with the book. But ultimately, that's just a badass cover too. I mean, that's really sweet.
Side note, this is like basically what the whole story of Lost is based off of.
Is it really?
Oh,
it was this comic.
Mm-hmm. Was it the whole?
Well,
series
like
or
the
some of the
initial, the inspiration,
the premise, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So that's
awesome.
super cool.
That is really
sweet. Samantha's.
You guys won't be surprised about mine, but it's a Jungle Comics 100.
Oh, 100.
Nice. So
Dang.
what's so special about this one is Tony actually found it for me, and I have been looking for a Matt Baker anything. I'll take Matt Baker anything, even if it's cover detached or just the cover page. I'll take Matt Baker anything. I've been at a lot of cons. Never. I always just straight up ask, do you have any Matt Baker? And everyone's like,
do you want to
no.
explain who Matt Baker is, just in case anybody doesn't know what it is?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna get there, but
Okay,
yes.
sorry. Go ahead.
It's fine. So like every time, even at NYCC, nobody had anything Matt Baker. Every booth I had asked. So for context, Matt Baker is the first African American artist for comic books. So that's why it's like so special to me. And it's rare. I can't hardly ever find it. I don't even know if I'll be able to like find in the wild a Matt Baker anything. Is how long it took. So Tony went to a con recently, actually a few weeks ago.
It's like Mini Heroes Con up in Charlotte.
Yeah. And he found this book.
Really?
Yes, he found this book. It has a Matt Baker story in it. So he did the art for one of the stories in the comic. And it's just so amazing because, of course, there's a lot of, African Americans now in comic books. But back then, back in the golden age, obviously, we don't even have to go into it really. We all know that it wasn't easy for African Americans to have opportunities and do stuff like that. So to me, that's like a huge deal. And so this is by far my favorite book and probably always will be. So yeah, Jungle Comics 100.
Yeah, it's a little special from what I understand as well, is that he wasn't much of a writer. He usually did like the artwork for things. So for him to have done the art and wrote the story is kind of also like a different thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, how many? Yeah. I was trying to look up how many total covers does he? Do you happen to know offhand how many covers he did?
I'm not sure
because it seems like it's a relatively low number because the window of time he was working was relatively small.
Because I believe he passed away fairly young. I actually don't know how many.
That's you know what? This wasn't Jeopardy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
That'll probably be something I'm gonna have to do is just sit down, make a list, and figure out what all he's done before. That way, when we're out and about, we can just easily pull it up and find.
But you make a very good point, though. I mean, it's just hard to find in general. We've talked about this when it comes to Golden Age books. They're not snap your fingers kind of books, right? When you're looking for something that's Golden Age, even if it's something that was fairly common back then, as far as the books, as print numbers and stuff, they're just not the books you can just go on eBay and say, I want it now. Kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. And he died in his mid 30s. He had passed away. So I imagine there's not many.
Yeah, he's 37 when he passed away in 1959.
Yeah. Yep. And so I imagine that the number of covers that he has to his name is a unfortunately small number.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting. That makes me want to kind of go do some of the same research. So Jesus, you got anything else in that bag of yours for interesting facts?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of cool stuff on him. It's just really interesting. There's so much history steeped in comic books. Comic books is one of the original one of the original American type of art, just like blueses and stuff of that nature that originated actually here. Versus us, adopting it from somewhere else or what have you, the actual comic book itself. So that's also a piece of history. And that's amazing, man. Matt Baker, and they're pretty cool. He has a lot to do with the Phantom Lady as well. I think that's one of the things.
His Phantom Ladies are incredible.
Yeah. So, it's just a pretty cool piece of history there. And I like it. I mean, that was a pretty awesome cover as well. So thank you for sharing that with us. And like Jake said, some of these are so hard to find, man. Like, once you get into pre-code horror, once you get into Golden Age stuff, it's just you're forced to get it when you find it. If that's what you really want, because you never know when you're gonna see it again.
Oh, absolutely.
And was there any outside of Tony, you just knowing she was looking for one? Was there any special? Was it a gift like you surprised her in a way? Or was it timely in any way? Like, was it near her birthday at least? So you
it was my birthday.
Was it your birthday?
It was near my birthday.
Yeah,
it was a couple weeks after.
Nearish her birthday.
Nearish, yeah.
Yeah. I just knew that she was really looking for one, and I had a couple of hours at the con, and I was in a rush, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna rifle through and figure this out. And I was like, looking on like mostly My Comic Shop and things like that, just scanning for the name, like Control F, find Matt Baker,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you do. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you both for sharing those. I think those are both incredible, and they give a little bit of background into you guys and who you are and why you do what you do, right? The passion is clearly evident. You both love comics, but for your own ways. We've never had two guests on the show at the same time, right? And so this has been interesting, but it's also just the fact that you guys are married and you're working together, you're selling comics together, but the way you collect is still so very much you. And I think that's really cool. And it's fun that you guys found each other and can share that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. High five.
Yeah. High five for being you. Okay. Enough of that. Let's move on to speculation. So we always get a lot of commentary from, as you guys mentioned, a lot of people out there like to speculate. You guys get people who buy from you who are often speculators. We get a lot of messages about people saying, like, either offering up like specs they think that we should be sharing, or just telling us like, hey, I listened to your show and I went and bought 8 of these books. And we're like, no. I mean, good for you. We do always appreciate when everybody out there likes the speculations that we have. I would always just say, specking is fun. It's something that I enjoy as a hobby as well. Outside of one book, when I spec on a book, I usually get one and done sort of thing. Only one book did I ever buy multiple times.
Say it.
Journey into Mystery, annual number 1.
We couldn't go another 3 weeks without him saying that, so I just wanted him to say it because it was on the tip of his tongue. Everybody knew it.
I was setting myself up to say it. No, the first Hercules. I'm a huge fan of Hercules, and I tell everybody, get it while you can, because it's a 1965. It's a hard book to get in any grade because the way that they made it, the covers are all falling off of it. Yeah. So that's a free one for everybody out there who hadn't listened before. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into speculation. I'm going to go first on this one, and then we'll go kind of the reverse of what we did for recent pickups. So my speculation is going to be this is Marvel Annual Team Up, or Marvel Team Up Annual number 1. So,
oh, that's a good one. Such a sleeper.
Yeah. So the thing that I like about this one is it's got a lot of nice little it's got 2 firsts and a second. So it's the first team up of Spider-Man and the new X-Men team. And it is the first appearance of the new X-Men team outside of the X-Men title. So it's got a couple of nice, mini key things going on for it. But it is also the second appearance of Phoenix, or Jean Grey. Now, I like seconds a lot because usually when the first gets out of hand from a price point standpoint, the second usually ends up being pulled up by the first. When the price goes up, people move to the next. And so it's got a lot of good things going for it. But 2 things that it has going for it is gorgeous art and a great story. So it's got Chris Claremont as the writer and Dave Cockrum as the artist. And, everybody knows that team up from the 70s, but it is on display in all of its glory in this book. The one that I have is unfortunately not the greatest grade, but when it's a low grade, that means that I can go ahead and read it and I don't mind. But this is a book I'm looking to find in a higher grade. And, with Spider-Man and the X-Men coming, I think this book could see some spike. It hasn't really blown up yet, so it'll move, or at least I think it will.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great cover too.
Oh, yeah.
Did you show the splash page? Did you show the splash page on it?
I can. None of the listeners can hear it.
Yes. Oh, I
The
love
splash page on it is dope. Yeah, it's dope.
I think what's interesting about that book as well is that you don't find it very often at the LCS. You'll find Marvel Team Up almost everywhere, but not the annual,
I actually have not seen that book in the wild. We got a collection in the shop that had it. That's the only time we've had it.
Yeah.
It is a really fun book. It's a cool title, or excuse me, a cool cover with a lot going on. honestly. And the fact that it's the first time Spider-Man, well, I guess it's Spider-Man and New Team. In my mind, I keep saying it's the first time Spider-Man and X-Men have ever teamed up, but that's not quite true. But in this case with the New Team, that's the one that we're going to see, right? That's the one that we want to see in the MCU. We want to see that new team with Spider-Man, and it's going to be fantastic when it happens. But this book did it first, and I will say I read the story. It's a lot of fun. This is it's a page turner. It's also a dense book. It's a lot.
Is it square bound? It's square bound too, right?
Yes, it is square bound. So,
so
for some reason, those annuals
grade.
in the 70s, they needed them to be square bound for some reason. So, okay, moving on. Sammy, Tony, what do you got?
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Do your
Speaking
thing.
of second appearances and Hercules, mine, Journey into Mystery 124.
Oh, wonderful. See?
Nice.
We got a true believer in the house.
100%. Yeah. So I can't usually afford the Journey annual. So I picked these ones up, which I can usually find these ones for pretty cheap. Like this one I got for $30.
Yeah.
And I'll find it for like $20 to $30 generally. You know, given the grade, it can go. Yeah. So it's the second appearance of Hercules is what it is.
Yep.
And,
second appearance of Hercules. It's got a Kirby cover, right?
Yeah. It's such an incredible cover. Like you can't really go wrong. And I actually like the little this little guy at the bottom, to be honest.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. He's always caught my attention too.
But yeah, I mean, you have. I've told this quite a few times now, is that you have Zeus already casted, and if you have Zeus, you're gonna have Hercules, because who else in the Greek mythology is really important to Marvel besides Hercules? You know, a lot of people like
Ares. Ares is really the only other one that I can think of, but he is more of that anti-hero that could be a good foil for Hercules if you were looking for one.
Yeah, I picked up that red cover of Ares one as well.
Yeah. Wow, that's a gorgeous cover too.
They also cast the God Butcher, so he does have to kill some gods.
Exactly.
So there's going to be some lower level ones that he's probably going to take out, but I don't think it's going to be Hercules. I think Hercules is. I mean, I'm a believer. I have
you can't kill Hercules, Jesus. You they can't do it. So
you never know.
I think what I like about him for the movies would be that, like, a lot of people really like Thor, especially the portrayal that's in the MCU right now. But I like Hercules better because he's like bro Thor, you know? And I think it would play out really well on TV.
Now, I actually feel like he's a more flawed version of Thor. Yeah, like you said, bro Thor. Yeah, bro Thor. It's a good way to put it.
Nice. That's funny.
All right, Sammy, are you up? You got something?
Yes. Oh, I'm excited about this because Tony and I, we don't do the spec videos and stuff like that. But as a couple that enjoy comics, it's one of those things that always gives us something to talk about. So our spec boxes are just out of control. And every time something happens, we'll be like texting each other. We'll be like, "Oh my gosh, da 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 da, told you so." Yeah. It's so fun.
It's fun for one of us.
I was just about to say, one of you looks like you're having fun here. The other one doesn't.
I'm like, babe, are you impressed? I said that every time. Yeah. It's like, yes. All right. So I picked I'll tell you first. I picked the two books that I picked particularly because I see these every time I'm out in the wild. And I think they're like two really fun spec books that are found easily and affordable when out and about. So the first one I'm going to share is X-Men 282, first appearance of Bishop.
Yep.
I love this book because he's like, he's looking like a boss on the cover, but I think that they did amazing things with Bishop. He's a really powerful main African-American male character in the X-Men, and the way Marvel has been just so incredibly intentional and organic about how they build storylines and diversify in their movies and their shows. They've always just been so intentional about naturally putting in the characters that are already diverse or with Echo have disability and stuff like that. So I just think that Bishop is a no-brainer in my opinion because he's a male African-American, and I personally feel like they kind of have to use him when they bring the X-Men in. So that's my thoughts on Bishop.
I love that book. I do love that cover.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. And then the other one I enjoy is X-Men Annual 14. I know for now it's listed as, the cameo of Bishop, but he's like in 8 pages. They use his name, he uses powers, like he is a part of the story. So that's just my opinion. However, I love this one because it is definitely a lot cheaper.
It is
than
significantly
X-Men 266.
Yep.
And even though Storm looks amazing on 266, I actually love the cover of Annual 14 a lot more.
Really?
I do. It's
and you know that's a less common opinion. You know that, right?
I do. I do know it's a very uncommon opinion. Everyone's always shocked, but his use of pink and purple.
Oh, I'm not I don't hate on that cover. I know a lot of people that do hate on that cover, but I actually very much enjoy that cover. I have that book in a 9.4, I believe.
Nice.
But you are not wrong at all. I will go to bat with anybody. I will go and fight anybody who wants to say that is not Gambit's first appearance, because like you said, I mean, he's in 16, 18 panels. Like he has a storyline in that book. And that's that. And, people will say, well, it was supposed to come out after. Well, it didn't. So
we're all in the same boat, I think.
It didn't. And, but this book is significantly cheaper than 266. So I just feel like it's a fun spec to grab here and there. And Gambit, I don't feel like they can roll out X-Men without Gambit because everybody loves Gambit.
And they have not done him yet. They have not done him at all. So
there was those rumors with Channing Tatum being attached to it.
I think he's aged out of the role though too.
Yeah. Well, it just depends.
Well, he's not old, but I think he's he might have moved on.
I mean, he was on 21 Jump Street as a teenager, so I mean,
10 years ago.
But at that time he's like almost 30, I think, when he was doing it or something like that.
No to Channing Tatum Gambit. I don't think it's a right fit.
Yeah, I like someone like with him and Wolverine, a little bit more comic accurate, where they're like tall and skinny or short and stout.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I like the rumors rolling around for the Wolverine being what's his name, Taron Egerton from he played Billy Joel.
Kingsman.
Not Billy Joel. Sorry. He played Elton John. Whew, that was wrong guy. Piano, but wrong guy. Taron Egerton has been, they've been, a lot of people have been floating rumors and saying that they want him to play Wolverine or that he's already been in talks to. So that's a lot of fun. I think he would be great. He was great as Elton John, but I do think you're right when it comes to Gambit, when it comes to Bishop, both of these characters seem like no-brainers. And I completely agree. Jesus, you have a spec to throw out before we hit the road?
Yeah, I have a quick spec. I did want to say on that X-Men 282, the first Bishop, there's also a second printing that's also really cool with the gold background. I like that background as well.
That one is so cool.
I don't see it a lot though, man. I don't see it a lot, but every time I see it, I'm like, man, that's cool. That's a cool cover, and I try to pick it up. So that's cool. Mine is a little bit off the beaten track, and it's a recent beaten track. I'm specking on King of Black #3. Which is from 2021, I believe, of this year, or I think towards the end of last year. The reason why is in this issue, Tony Stark commandeers a Celestial using his armor, and he had to do that to fight Null, the god, the symbiote god. They threw the kitchen sink at him, basically, right? Donny Cates, the writer and creator of that character, now on Hulk #1, and on Hulk #1, there's a really cool panel where it looks like Tony Stark's been tinkering with the Celestial. So it's called the Iron Celestial. He's going to come out in Hulk 1. And then Donny Cates recently said on Twitter that this is not the last we've seen of this character. Mm-hmm. So as far as spec goes, we know how the Donny Cates spec has gone. He did Virus, and Virus was crazy last year and popped off. And then it kind of went down whenever we found out it wasn't an original character, when it was actually Matt Gargan, which is the Scorpion, being a new character. But Donny Cates is a great writer. This is a really cool concept. An Iron Celestial already has a name. And I just feel it's fun. It's fun, and it encompasses kind of what the craziness of comic books and what they are. Celestials are coming back. We saw them in Eternals. There's going to be more around them going forward. I think they were probably setting up Galactus and Eternals.
Spoiler, you got to at least warn people. Jeez,
dude, it's like 2 months out after the Eternals, man. What do you want me to do? If you're listening to this podcast, you've already seen Eternals like twice. So that's why I'm specking on King of Black number 3 as the first time you see technically the Iron Celestial.
Nice. I think that's fun. I do think that the Celestials are being set up in the MCU, of course, with Eternals. And I think we're only going to see more, right?
For sure.
So nice. Well, very good. That is that really wraps it up for us, though. I would like to close out before we get to the thanks and all that sort of stuff. Where can people find you? Like, what's your handles? Where do you want them to go and engage with you online?
Well, on Instagram, you can find us as Skeleton Key Comics, same as YouTube on Skeleton Key Comics. And then Whatnot, which is where we do like our $1 start bid auctions, skeleton_key_comics.
Wow. So if they search Skeleton Key Comics, they'll probably find you, right?
Yeah. Whatnot wouldn't let us do the name without the
underscores.
Things,
yeah, we need to get that.
Well,
it upset me a little bit.
I have heard a lot of great things about Whatnot, though, and people having a lot of good luck buying, and a lot of buyers are moving over there, and I think that's cool to see another marketplace coming up. I know that the community is constantly looking for new ways to buy that aren't eBay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sure.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Both of you, thank you so much for coming on. This was an absolute pleasure. You guys are ridiculously fun. I can see why you guys kind of do this professionally together. You really seem to have a good connection, especially when it comes to comics. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks so much for having us. This was a great time.
Thanks, Jesus.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Sorry. Jesus always tells me I talk too much. That's how it goes. All right. Well, for those out there listening, thank you so much for listening in. Again, like we said early on, we really do appreciate everybody out there who's tuning in, who's listening and sending us good messages or reaching out. It's been a lot of fun, and we're going to keep the fun rolling. We've got more guests coming up for the month of December, and we're just going to roll that through the end of the year. And it sounds like we're going to have kind of something fun planned out for New Year's. So we will maybe tease that even more in the next episode. Until then, everybody, have a great week.